Hey, what is up, guys? In today's video, I got myself here a massive lot of Wii U and one Wii game. If you caught my previous video, you'll know that I already covered these four games. Yeah, this video is primarily on these games that I got. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 Wii U games. Well, I mean, technically 12. You want to count New Super Luigi U as its own, but yeah, that's 12. That's almost about roughly almost a dozen games that I paid about $125 for in total. So yeah, so basically I got them for about maybe on average $12 a piece, $13 a piece, which isn't too bad considering a few of these games are actually hard to get nowadays. Now let's actually start off at the top here with these two games, Call of Duty Black Ops 2 and Batman Arkham City Armored Edition. Now unfortunately, I will have to return these games to the seller because they don't work. I've tried multiple times, they just won't load up. But thankfully, the seller is willing to trade for a couple other games, which I will cover in a future video. But for now, yeah, these games don't work. If I can talk about them briefly, Armored Edition, it's basically just the Wii U version, but with like an extra costume that actually shows up during cutscenes, as well as some gamepad features, which is kind of relevant now. Yeah, speaking of which, the armored skin that Batman has is actually available in the Switch version of Arkham City now, so that's not it kind of makes this version moot, but also it doesn't help that the Wii U version just doesn't run very well, which is unfortunate because this was a launch title, I believe, and it had all the DLC included. It's on the disc, but unfortunately, and aside from well, actually, you know what? Aside from the gamepad features, it also has the shock gloves, which you cannot get in any other version, I don't think. Like, the Switch version is based on the original release from 2011, so with the added costume from this version, but aside from that, this is technically, on a technical level, this is the worst version, sadly. Still an excellent game, though. I still recommend it, no matter what. Next up, Black Ops 2, one of the best Call of Duty games, period. Unfortunately, the servers just got shut down because it was running on the Nintendo network, unlike a lot of the Wii-era Call of Duty games, which for the most part ran on Activision servers, which allowed them to stay on for so long, until fairly recently as well. But yeah, the online mode doesn't work, but hey, and it's also objectively the worst version as well. It's a pretty common theme throughout the Wii U's life. The games, unfortunately, released on the system, specifically a lot of the third-party stuff, were often the worser versions. So in Black Ops 2 case, it ran worse, but also did not get any of the DLC. So like any of the new zombies or multiplayer content, or sorry, the season pass, that is, any of that content is not available. The funny thing is, they actually gave the Nuketown 2025 map almost a full 2 years after the game's release, whereas consoles players like PS3 and Xbox 360 console players got the Nuketown map at launch, and for whatever reason, the Wii U owners had to wait like almost 2 full years. And I believe they actually teased Black Ops 3 through an update as well in this game, but of course Black Ops 3 did not come to the Wii U, and honestly it was probably a good thing because that version released on PS3 and Xbox 360 was terrible. So yeah, they kind of dodged a bullet by not having Black Ops 3 there, but still, it's one less game nonetheless. And like I said, it's a common theme that the Wii U version was just worser if it even got ported at all. Yeah, thankfully things have changed a bit since then, so hopefully we'll get Call of Duty on Switch 2 at some point. I mean, you look at the back here. You have the Pro Controller, gamepad, Wii Remote, and I think the nunchuck option as well, which is neat. Personally, would not use that outside of just trying it out. But there's also the classic controller as well. So yeah, you got a lot of options here. And I believe yeah, in Arkham City it's just a gamepad, sadly. But yes, Black Ops 2, yeah, I mean the campaign is still great, and I mean assuming you don't mind playing the same zombies map over and over again, I think you'll be fine. It is it is a shame that we haven't had a new Call of Duty game on a Nintendo platform in 12 years, almost 12 years now. Last one was Ghost, which also came out to Wii U, but that was it. After that, and just A, because the Wii U was just not selling well, but B, the Nintendo Switch, the successor to the Wii U, just wasn't powerful enough to run a lot of the current gen games. I mean, maybe with enough effort they could have gotten it, but again, it would have required a lot of resources to get running, if at all, and it probably would have been not great either, sadly. But yeah, that's enough of Call of Duty. I am looking forward to Black Ops 7's campaign though, seeing how it is the true sequel, narratively speaking, to Black Ops 2, whereas the actual Black Ops 3 was like completely far removed. But yeah, that's those games. Hopefully, I can grab a working copy of these two at some point for cheap as well. Speaking of cheap, yeah, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker on Wii U. Yeah, this was nice. This was really nice. I actually played the Switch version thanks to a trial that Nintendo was running. I got through like a good chunk of the game thanks to that trial. This game started off as like a mini game mode sort of in Super Mario 3D World, but then it became its own game, sold at a budget price. And yeah, it's pretty fun. Now the Wii U version still has like an exclusive level based on 3D World, whereas the Switch port, as well as the 3DS version as well, has a level based on Super Mario Odyssey. It would have been nice if they had 3D World as well, but oh well. At least they substituted for something else. But why not just have both? But anyways, yeah, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Um, it's a great game. Has this very diorama feel to it, which is really nice. And yeah, now I got I got it for dirt cheap, which is awesome. Especially since Nintendo's been jacking the price of a lot of their games recently, especially here in Canada. It used to be so during the at some point during the Wii U era, games went from $60 to $69.99, and then we get to the Switch era, it's $79.99. Actually, you know what? No, it was already at the launch of the Switch back in 2017 is when they introduced the $79.99 price tag, and then Switch 2 is like a 100 plus, basically, which sucks. But yeah, that's the unfortunate state of modern gaming. Next up, Madden NFL 13. So yeah, this was the last Madden game ever released on a Nintendo platform until just recently. We just got Madden NFL 26, so that's 13 entries. Yeah, that's 13 years without a Madden game for whatever reason. Yeah, for some reason Switch 1 did not get a Madden game, even though they could have. I mean, hypothetically, I mean, yes, I know there's some. Obviously, they would have had to use like the last gen version, but and rebranded it as a Legacy Edition. But I'm surprised they didn't just do that. They didn't give us anything for Switch 1, and I believe the game runs on the Frostbite engine, so it's like. And of course, FC 24 started using the Frostbite engine on Switch. So why didn't it? It makes me wonder why they didn't just bring it over Madden as well. I guess the technical performance just wasn't acceptable, but even still, they could have brought it over. I'm surprised. This is EA we're talking about. They kept releasing all these legacy editions on Switch. They could have done the same with Madden. But anyways, Madden itself, I have really little to say. I'm not really a football fan. This is just me completing the collection, because of course I have to. I mean, I will say I do like how the blue uniform matches with the blue case and the blue font, the blue logo. It's really nice. Yeah, so you got the gamepad, Pro Controller, and Wii Remote and Nunchuck. Yes. Oh yeah. This game also came out on Wii for some reason, and of course the Wii version was the Legacy Edition, I believe. Like, and it wasn't it didn't have Legacy Edition in the title, but might as well have been a Legacy Edition. Yeah, yeah. This is actually, yeah, it's interesting. Like that's, yeah. It's been even though the newest Madden is on Switch 2, we haven't had a game that's been released on a previous gen and the next gen Nintendo system since this game, and probably won't until like Switch 3 gets announced. But that of course that's also dependent on whether or not the newest Madden game does well, because I heard it doesn't perform well on the newest Switch, sadly. Switch 2, that is. Moving on, new Super Mario Bros. U plus new Super Luigi U, plus some bonus videos. Yeah, so this is a new a reprinting of New Super Mario Bros. U with the new Super Luigi U content on the same disc. Previously you had like just the regular New Super Mario Bros. U, and then later on they released a special green case with New Super Luigi U on its own, and then this bundle comes with both. I think it came with like certain Wii U models or something. I can't remember. But yeah, there you go. It's all in one disc, which is really nice. And it's, what can I say? It's New Super Mario Bros. U. The game, like Captain Toad, it got remastered on Switch, and Nintendo upped the price of it and actually removed some. And much like Captain Toad, also removed some things. The five-player co-op, that's not an option because of the lack of a gamepad. So yeah, that also includes that Wii U exclusive mode. That's gone as well. Yeah, in terms of in terms of what you can use, Wii Remote, gamepad, and Pro Controller. So yeah, that's really nice. Next up, we have two Lego games. Lego Batman 2, DC Superheroes, and Lego Batman 3, Beyond Gotham. These games got some DLC, but of course, since the Wii U eShop is gone, you can't get them no more. I don't even know if they released all of it anyways. I can't remember. But yeah, this was, I believe, a launch title, I think. And then this game, of course, came out in around like 2014, I believe. I really like this game a lot on the Nintendo DS. When I played the Wii version, which I played through Sailing the Seven Seas, I actually did not like that. I actually preferred the stage-to-stage design of the DS version, which I also sailed the Seven Seas for. But anyways, yeah. So I did not like the open world stuff at first, and I'm sure I'll change my mind since I'm much more used to open world games nowadays. But back then I did not like the open world. It was just a pain to go. I just wanted to play the levels without having to drive around to this spot. It felt like padding to me, and it also didn't help that I didn't have a good sense of direction. So it's like, oh, you got to get to this spot, but I don't know how to, and yeah, that was a pain. But yeah, Lego Batman 2, I really love this game, at least on DS. I'm sure I'll really like this now on consoles. But for now, I still got the first Lego Batman to get through. Next up, Lego Batman 3 Beyond Gotham. Yeah, this one, I heard it wasn't as good. I don't know too much about it. But I understand that they wanted to make a fourth game, but that ended up not happening because of behind-the-scenes issues. Apparently, things are not going so well behind the scenes as as developers were not happy with having to use a proprietary engine for the Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, which is why the game ended up taking so long to come out. But also because of, but I mean, but also a lot of other things like mismanagement, poor treatment of the employees, and so on and so forth. And I mean, now they're starting to use the Unreal Engine, I think. And of course, we have like Lego Fortnite, Lego in Fortnite, or Lego Fortnite, or whatever. So it's unclear what's going to happen with the Lego franchise. I'm sure we'll still get them, but it's worth mentioning they kept pumping these games out. They pumped out as many of these as they did MCU movies back then, which is crazy to think about. But I think it also led to an oversaturation, unfortunately, which is why the games just don't sell as well, since a lot of them feel very derivative, at least for a while. Also didn't help that we had Lego Dimensions a year after, and of course the whole Toys to Life thing kind of floundered after a while. But yeah, that's oh yeah, before I forget, I gotta remember. So on the second game, you can use the gamepad, and the second player can use the Wii Remote and Nunchuck. In this game, you also have the Pro Controller option, which is nice. So yeah, that's the Lego Batman games. I actually had the first game on Wii, but I've since sold that because I don't need it. I have it on 360 and PC as is. In fact, I actually have these games also on PC, but I got it because I want to get as far along in the Wii U collection as I can. And speaking of which, Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures. Yeah, this is a licensed game. So what I'm told is that the creator of Smash Brothers, he wanted to use the classic version of Pac-Man and refused, and basically was like, if I'm only allowed to use the his Ghostly Adventure design, I'm not putting Pac-Man in there, or something like that. Heard this game was okay. My first experience with Pac-Man was actually on the PS1, Pac-Man World, the very first one, and it was a childhood game of mine. I still haven't beaten it to this very day. I still need to go back and finish it. But I heard this game basically borrows some elements from Super Mario Galaxy. Not necessarily a bad thing, but obviously when a game does something first, you can't help but feel like this is just a carbon copy of that. Yeah, so I believe this game also got a 3DS version as well, which was also, I think, comparable. I don't know. All I know is this version of the game supports the Pro Controller, Nunchuck, and the Wii Remote, the Classic Controller, and the gamepad itself. I'm sure I'll get to this game eventually. Eventually. I know there's a sequel, but for now, I'm going to go back and finish the original Pac-Man World trilogy. They just announced the remake of the second Pac-Man World game, which is nice. And speaking of sequels, Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge. So this is actually an updated version of Ninja Gaiden 3. The original Ninja Gaiden 3 came out, wasn't well received. They released an updated version for the Wii U, which was exclusive for a bit, and then they released this, I think, digitally on the 360 and PS3. I don't know if there's a physical copy or not, but anyways, yeah. So this is actually a sealed copy, so I'm not going to open this. I'm going to hang on to it sealed. Yeah, this is considered like the weakest of the original trilogy, just because, first of all, it was not made by the same developers as the creator of the director of the first two games had parted ways with Koei Tecmo on very bad terms over a pay dispute. So yeah, this was made by completely brand new people, and generally it just wasn't as good as the first two games, sadly. They tried to change it up, and by change it up I mean they essentially tried to sell Japanese hamburger to an American audience by making it more how should we say, more they attempted to appeal more to a Western audience. But as a lot of Japanese companies were trying to do at that time, including Capcom with the Resident Evil games, they were really just chasing trends, I think. To my understanding, I'm not too sure on that, but yeah. So, and this was the result. There is a fourth game coming, which is nice, and they just released a 2D side-scrolling game, which They haven't which they haven't had, which hasn't happened in so many years. So yeah, that one I heard was really good. So yeah, but yeah, here's Razor's Edge. You don't honestly the Wii U version. I think it has some exclusive stuff, but aside from the PS3 and Xbox 360 versions, it has since been released on Switch, thanks to the Masters Collection. But and the Masters Collection, of course, includes Razor's Edge. So there's that. Yeah, so you got a couple. Yeah, I got some exclusive characters from the Dead or Alive series, also done by the director of the Ninja Gaiden games. But yeah, like I said, it is available on Switch. Although I am told that the versions of Ninja Gaiden Black and Ninja Gaiden, sorry, the first two Ninja Gaiden games included in that collection are not the definitive versions. They're actually based on an imperfect updated version that just isn't as good because they made some changes to the gameplay that made the game easier. But yeah, if you want to play like the definitive edition, my understanding is that you gotta play the original Xbox copy, which is backwards compatible on an Xbox One and Series console. And Ninja Gaiden 2, the original version of Ninja Gaiden 2, also on Xbox 360, backwards compatible. Those are considered like the best versions of those games, whereas the new Masters Collection includes versions that are deemed inferior by hardcore fans. But yeah, that's basically it for Ninja Gaiden. I'm probably not gonna play this. I actually have. I probably will get the Masters Collection anyways, at some point, just to play this game. But we'll see. Oh yeah, also supports the Pro Controller, which is nice. Next two games. So these, okay. Remember what I said about Wii U versions being worser versions of the other missing features? Sorry. Yeah, these two, unfortunately, fall in that category as well. So, in the case of Transformers: Rise of the Darkspark, first of all, the game's not very good. This was an attempt to tie in the movie franchise into the video game franchise, uh, the video game timeline, but it just didn't work. I mean, first of all, the product was rushed out the door just to meet a deadline, just to coincide with the movie, and yeah, it just was just a bad product. So I mean, you have Lockdown and Grimlock over here from the movies, and I'm assuming these characters are from the Cybertron games. I don't know, but yeah, the game was rushed out the door. It is considered one of the worst Transformers games released. Period. And the Wii U version is worse because it has no multiplayer, as they just couldn't. You know, that's a common thing with the Wii U version. They don't want to put in multiplayer because it means they gotta. They just have to like put in. They don't want to. I guess they just didn't want to put in like one player on the TV and one player on the gamepad, which is usually how they encouraged it on the Wii U. That's kind of the main gimmick, and I guess they just couldn't do it for whatever reason. You know, just too much of a resource hog. And they just decided, the heck with it. We'll just ship it without it. But yeah, yeah, you can use the gamepad and also the Pro Controller. But yeah, this is developed by Edge of Reality. I think that yeah, the same people who did like the Spider-Man games for a bit. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, yeah, Activision, they got all these companies to do like all sorts of licensed game, and all of them just were lacking in general quality just because they were rushed out the door just for a quick buck. Sadly, which is a shame because some of these games are actually pretty decent. It's just they clearly needed more time in the oven. And speaking of time in the oven, oh boy, Arkham Origins. Yeah, this game came out in a bit of a rough state, and still is, actually. I tried the Wii U version like a couple days ago. It's a bit rough. The frame rate, particularly the frame rate. And even on the other versions I played, like the PS3 and Xbox 360, there's like all these, like in addition to the frame rate issues, you also have like all these bugs and glitches that prop up from time to time, unfortunately. And this is because well, this was because they ended up focusing development on the DLC as opposed to fixing bugs and glitches when the game was launched. Yeah, I know. This was when they started doing that, and um, yeah, it was not great. Now the Wii U version is objectively worse than all the other versions because it's lacking the multiplayer feature. Yeah, once again, multiplayer has been cut. But honestly, a lot of people felt like the multiplayer in the other versions was a bit unnecessary since these games are generally known for like their single player uh, story mode, anyways. So the multiplayer kind of felt tacked on, especially since it was developed by like a separate studio as well. I mean, with that said, I am aware that there are some fans of it. I think some people are still able to like get into the multiplayer. Technically, the multiplayer was shut down, but I think some people are able to like bypass that and still play it. But I don't know for certain. I did try at some point, but unfortunately, I couldn't get in. But yeah, aside from that, Arkham Origins was released basically as a stopgap title because what happened was Rocksteady were taking needed a bit more time to work on. Well, they basically just wanted to fill in the release window, and so they basically got Warner Brothers Montreal, the same people who did Arkham City Armored Edition, to make a completely brand new game, reusing a lot of the assets from Arkham City. And what we got was a pretty decent game that unfortunately felt like uh, an expansion, more like an expansion in a lot of ways. Like in terms of like gameplay innovations, yeah, it's largely the same. Same and it even features like the same one of the same areas from Arkham City. Of course, they have a story reason for why, but still, it's reusing assets nonetheless. As for the game itself, it is actually a fun game. It is still worthy of being an Arkham game. You know, the Arkham games are some of the best superhero games you can play, and Batman game um, that you can play. So, yeah, it's still a really good game. It's still worthy of being played. It's just not as it's not as good as City, just because the world feels a bit empty and a little cookie cutter. It feels like it's designed with a cookie cutter mentality, whereas Arkham City felt more organic. It felt the world itself felt more organic, and of course, Rocksteady they came out with the Arkham Knight like a year, like I think, yeah, a year and a half later. It was supposed to release back in 2014, but they delayed it by another year. So, year and a half later, we finally got the game that everyone was clamoring for. Um, to somewhat to I to good critical reception, but some people, of course, you know, a lot of people have things to say about the Batmobile. I personally, yeah, I feel the Batmobile sections do get a little repetitive and do overstay their welcome at times. But with that said, the one feature of Arkham Origins that I really wish had made a return in Arkham Knight is the fast travel system. I mean, come on, every game needs this now. Like, I should not have to backtrack so much in an open world, and this game manages to fix that issue, thankfully. But yeah, that's basically it for Batman Arkham Origins. I mean, I guess the only thing else I can say is the DLC. Yeah. Speaking of the DLC, it actually got canceled for the Wii U version. The Cold Cold Heart DLC featuring Mr. Freeze, that got canceled because, unfortunately, um, what happened was there was just low demand. So yeah, the Wii U version is forever an incomplete version of the game. But yeah, that pretty much does it for this video, guys. That's all the games I got in this massive lot. Paid 125 bucks for it. Um, yeah, not much else to say other than um, I am on my way to getting that full Wii U set, or as close as possible. I'm not paying $500 for Devil's Third. No way. But yeah, um, I'm happy, generally happy with what I got, except these two games. Um, and hopefully it won't be long now before I get up to like 80 or 90% complete. I'm not looking forward to a lot of the really bad licensed games though, like Barbie or Monster High. I really don't need those unless they're really cheap. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. If you like what you saw, want to see more, as always, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Good night.